welcome to another episode of SCFG Live, Science Club for Girls Live. I'm Hannah with Science Club for Girls, and that's Mr. Music with their theme song. Extra loud today, I guess because it's our season finale. Yay! Mr. Music will have you on at the end for an extra special show-off. Cool! Well, I'm so excited for all of you to join us today because we have so much in store, including some candy explosions, an extra special guest, and as always, our good friend, Dr. Marbles. Let's bring him in because I'm sure he's quite excited as well. Hey, Dr. Marbles!
Hey, Hannah!
It's so great to see you.
Well, it's so great to see you. And it's so great to see you guys, scientists.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited that you are here for our very last episode of the season.
Hannah.
Yes, Dr. Marbles.
Did I hear you right? Did I hear you say last?
Yeah, it is our last episode of season 1 today.
No, it can't be our last. Oh, we have so much more we have to learn. We were going to talk about dolphins, and we were going to talk about salt, and we were going to talk about castles. We had so many things we were going to talk about. Oh, we can't make this our last.
Well, Dr. Marbles, you're right that there is so much more to learn about. That's the great thing about science. And that's why we're just taking a break until next year. And then we'll go right back to learning all about those things like you said, like castles and salt. You said salt, right? Salt?
I said salt.
Okay, yeah. I guess we can still learn about salt and dolphins. So don't worry, we will be back for season.
Oh, but Hannah, just promise me we're going to do one more episode. I wore my special hat. You said we were going to do an episode on bungee.
Yeah. I know. We not sure how the hat relates to bungee, but we will do an episode on bungees next season. And I'm glad that you did wear your hat. That's a good choice for our last episode of the season.
What does this have to do with bungees? It's my bungee hat.
Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Marbles, have you at least enjoyed being with us for season 1?
Oh, did I enjoy it? I've loved it. And thanks, scientists, for letting me be a part of this.
We'd love to have you. There's been a lot that we've learned this season.
Hey, Hannah.
Yeah?
I got to take this hat off. I can't see you.
It's quite distracting, actually. Should we bring you back, or are you just going to knock it off your head?
No. I'll be right back. Just give me a second.
All right. Sounds good. Okay.
It's a great hat. I just bought it too big.
I'm glad. Well, not glad, but I'm glad that you made a decision to take it off.
Oh, you like my sticker? Do you like my sticker?
Let me see. It says, hello, my name is Mar. Oh, I'm glad that you chose the last episode to wear a name sticker. That's a good idea.
I meant to wear it on the first one, but I forgot.
You're 24 episodes late, but better late than never, you know?
You know what? I'll be right back.
Okay.
It's gone.
Okay. Great choice. Dr. Marbles, we have so much we have to do today. We have to get down to business.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay. So you were talking about all the things that you wanted to learn, but the truth is we've learned a lot in the last 24 episodes, and it would take absolutely forever if we were to go back and watch all the episodes, although everyone at home can go do that. So I've actually made a really cool montage collection of our last 24 episodes. Do you want to take a look?
Awesome. I'd love that.
Cool. Let's take a look. Look something like this. This is called a double helix structure above the clay. Like that. Cool. And now we have our thermometer. If certain objects will either sink or swim in salt water and fresh water. To the camera so you can take a look. You'll start to see that white stuff that's on top of the strawberry mixture, like in between the alcohol and the strawberry mixture, and that's DNA. Hey, Prediction Puppy! How are you? It's good to see you. Okay, toilet paper roll. You can also cut out a picture of a shark, but I think drawing's more fun, even if you're not the best artist. Boards, maybe I'll do a couple of sheets of cardboard, like that. Oh
my God!
Dr. Marbles!
Step.
Dr. Marbles!
Step. Oh, hey, Hannah!
I've been wearing these goggles all summer.
What have you been doing with those goggles?
It's funny, if you don't pay attention, you forget you had them on. They're so light and ergonomic.
I used to live in an old brownstone, and we had 4 steps up to my house. 1, 2, 3. I'm already exhausted.
Prediction chicken.
All right, Dr. Marbles.
I love to float. I love exercise. And I love the water.
Hand up if you hear.
I know, Anna, I know.
Well, you didn't know the first time.
Okay.
Cool.
What's the fact? No extra charge.
Love it. So many facts today, Dr. Marbles. It's
At least 4.
That's awesome.
My name is Carla. I'm currently a junior at Bunker Hill Community College, and I am double majoring in biomedical engineering and physics.
So my name is Mary Ann, and I am the education director for the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy.
Definitely say just try new things. I actually got into geology by accident. I wanted to take a science course, but I wasn't really sure what type of science. And my advisor was just like, why don't you try this geology course? And I was like, sure.
Engineering kind of breaks down like everyday, concepts or like, machines, and it shows you that the world is very malleable and like you can change it. You can improve it. We have a lot of stuff going on with climate change. We have like so much space to improve the world, and I feel like that's what really attracted me into engineering.
I would really recommend that like all students really explore their passions, reach out and see what you might be interested in, because there are tons of different topics, tons of different careers that you could go into, and you don't really know if you like something, if you want to do it until you try it.
Being in the Science Club for Girls community is such a beautiful foundation to really believe in yourself and just try to keep that belief in yourself, because you truly can do this and you truly are going to be change makers and really inform the new directions that we're going in every field of the world. And so just keep that belief that you really can do this.
Wow, that was awesome! Dr. Marbles, what did you think?
Oh, I loved it.
Wasn't that so cool?
It's so cool. And it's amazing how much fun we had, and we learned so much, Hannah.
It's really insane how much we have done, and I cannot wait until next season when we can even do more.
I can't wait. Season 2.
Exactly.
Yes.
But Dr. Marbles, that doesn't mean that we're not doing experiments in today's episode. In fact, we're doing experiments about candy.
What?
Yeah, I said candy.
Did you just say candy?
I did. I'm just as excited as you are.
That is so cool. I love this. I love the show.
I do too.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
Candy? Tell me more.
Well, Dr. Marbles, do you happen to have a fun fact about candy?
Do I have a fun fact about candy? Yeah, I've got about 10 fun facts. But here's a cool one. Did you know that Boston used to be the candy capital of America.
What? No way.
Yes, yes. Like
Wow.
back in like 1950, there were almost 140 candy companies in Boston. So much that there was a place in Cambridge that was called Confectioner's Row.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a picture of some of the candies we used to make.
That's really cool. I didn't even know that. That's so neat. And actually today, we're going to get to be like candy makers by doing different experiments because there's actually a lot of science involved in candy.
Yep.
Very
Oh,
cool.
that's so cool.
Yeah. Well, in fact, we're going to first do an experiment about pop rocks, and then we're going to do an experiment all about explosions.
What? Did you say Pop Rocks?
I did. I said pop rocks. Have you ever had a pop rock?
Doesn't it look like I've done? Doesn't it look like I've had Pop Rocks? Look at me.
Yeah, why are you doing that? Can you explain? Because it looks a little funny.
Well, that's my impression of Pop Rocks. They cause little explosions, Hannah. Little explosions in your mouth.
That's true. In fact, I was often wondering, why do these explosions occur? Like, what makes them pop? And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do an experiment to find out.
Awesome. You know what's weird?
What?
Is they don't pop in the bag. They only pop in your mouth.
Right. Like, I don't hear any popping sounds right now.
Wait, bring it over here. Nope.
Nope.
So I wonder, Hannah, why it pops when it's in your mouth. You going to experiment around that and try and figure it out?
Yeah, we are. And we'll check in with you pretty soon after we do that.
Okay.
All right. He sure is a funny one, Dr. Marbles. All right. Well, actually, that impression that Dr. Marbles was doing is pretty accurate. What happens with pop rocks is when they hit your mouth, they kind of start to pop. In fact, watch this. I'll show you an example. So when you open the pop rocks, they look something like this, little teeny tiny rocks. And when you put them in your mouth, they start to pop. I can kind of feel it in my whole mouth and it feels kind of silly. But, oh gosh, it's still popping. Why exactly does this happen? Well, in today's experiment, we're going to find out. So what you'll need for today's experiment, obviously, I got pop rocks stuck to my hand, are some pop rocks. Pop rocks are a little bit tricky to find, but you can always find them online. They look something like this. They come in a bunch of different flavors, but I chose cotton candy for today. And you need a few different liquids. Today we're going to test water and oil. I'm going to switch my camera so you can take a look at what is going on. All right. So I have a tray here, and I've got some water, and I have some oil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my pop rocks in the water and the oil, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm curious if I'm going to hear that popping feeling if I place it in the water and if I place it in the oil. So let's see what happens. But first, as always with every science experiment, we need to make a
prediction chicken! Prediction chicken, last show, prediction chicken.
Woo!
Prediction chicken.
Dr. Marbles, I have to tell you something. I just put some pop rocks in my mouth, and the impression you did actually was pretty good. Yeah. Very impressed.
You know what?
Yeah.
Prediction chicken never gets old. I love it. Well, what's the question?
It always surprises me. Every time you bring up that chicken, surprising.
Prediction chicken. All right, what's the question?
Well, Dr. Marbles, the question is, I'm going to put our pop rocks in water and in oil, and I'm curious what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen if I place it in the water, and what's going to happen if I place it in the oil?
All right, here's my prediction.
Okay.
I think because pop rocks pop in your mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
The saliva, which is the sort of fluid in your mouth, I think it's more like water than it is like oil. So I'm going to guess that the pop rocks pop more, at least more, if they're in the water than if they're in the oil. Just my guess.
Very interesting. Should we try it out?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
All right, let's check it out.
Okay, I'm going to put it in the water first.
Oh.
Can you hear that?
I think I hear it.
Take a look.
Scientist, you hear it, scientist?
Ooh, that blue looks kind of cool. It kind of sounds like what it does when they're in my mouth. You were right,
Yeah.
Dr. Marbles. In fact, I can actually see, if you look carefully, some bubbles that are forming as well. Very interesting. All right.
I thought that they should be called crackle pops.
Yeah, they kind of sound like they're crackling a little bit.
Or crackle rocks.
Maybe you should write to the Pop Rocks people and tell them that.
They sound a lot more like crackles than pops. Crackle rocks is what I would call them.
Okay, well, that's a good idea. All right, now let's try the oil. Ready?
Yep.
No, I'm not hearing anything.
Nada.
No, they're kind of just sitting there. And like actually some of them are kind of floating to the top too.
Yep.
Weird. Well, your hypothesis must have been correct because they're kind of dissolving in the water. In fact, the water is kind of turning blue, but nothing's happening in the oil.
Well, there you go.
I wonder why they're popping in the water, but not the oil. Do you think there's another experiment we could do to kind of figure that out?
Well, here's my thought, Hannah.
Okay.
Going one step deeper. And that's what's interesting about science. You move from one hypothesis to the next.
Good point.
So my thought is that the crackle rocks, that's what I'm going to call them. Crackle rocks, because they sound like crackles.
That's true.
The crackle rocks are made of sugar. And my thought is that there must be something about the sugar that reacts more with the water than the oil. It would be good to do an experiment that isolates the sugar from the crackle rocks.
I like that idea. Maybe if we just use regular old sugar. Let's give that a try. Dr. Marbles, you're so smart. Thanks for helping us out.
No problem.
We'll bring you back soon. All right, well, I like what Dr. Marbles was thinking of isolating just the sugar from the actual pop rock and see how that reacts with the water and how that reacts with the oil. So let's start with brand new cups. I have a brand new cup of water and a brand new cup of oil. And let's see what happens when I just add sugar into the water and the oil. So I'll start with just a spoonful of sugar, that classic song. A little bit of sugar. I'll give it a stir in the water. There we go. And a little bit of sugar in the oil. I'll give it a stir. All right. Let's take a look at what we see here. First, the oil. You might notice a lot of that sugar, is just kind of sitting right at the bottom of the oil cup. It's not really mixing very well with the oil. But the sugar in the water, well, you can barely see it. It really mixed in there with the water. So the sugar's dissolving in the water, but not dissolving in the oil. Well, that must kind of be what's happening with the pop rocks. The pop rocks are able to dissolve, the sugar on the pop rocks is able to dissolve in the water, but not in the oil. And that way it's kind of releasing something and maybe causing that popping sensation. Well, I wonder what would happen if we tried a different liquid. What about vinegar? Do we think pop rocks would pop in vinegar? Well, let's test out the sugar part first. So I'm going to start with a cup of vinegar. And let's see what happens when I put sugar in vinegar. This might give us an idea of what would happen with the pop rock vinegar. All right. Here's vinegar. All right. Time to see what will happen when I put the sugar in the vinegar. Give it a little stir. Oh, I have some oil on my spoon. Probably should have changed spoons. All right. Well, that looks kind of similar to how the sugar looked in the water. It's pretty clear. Most of the sugar was able to dissolve. Okay, so now that we know that sugar dissolves in vinegar, what's going to happen if we put pop rocks in vinegar? Let's make another prediction chicken.
Prediction chicken! Take two! Take two! Prediction chicken, take two.
Welcome back.
Mon plaisir.
All right,
You know,
Dr. Marbles.
We've never done a prediction chicken take two.
Never, but it's our last episode, so we have to.
Okay.
It's the best part.
All right. What's the question?
All right, so here's the question.
Yep.
I just put some sugar in the vinegar, and I saw the sugar dissolved.
Yep.
So what do you think is going to happen if I put the Pop Rocks in the vinegar? Do you think it will be similar to the oil or similar to the water?
Good question. I'm going to say it's going to be similar to the water because I know oil and vinegar don't mix, so they must not be similar. I'm going to say it's like the water. I bet you they crack.
Ooh, let's see. Oh! Do you hear that?
Yeah, there's the crackle. There's
You're
the crackle.
right. Those crackle rocks are crackling again.
But hey,
That must
Hannah,
mean- Huh?
I have a question though.
Oh yeah, what's the question?
This is one hypothesis leading to another, so now I have more curiosity.
Go for it.
Why did the crackle rocks crackle and the sugar didn't? What's causing them to crackle?
That's a great question. Well, what's inside of Pop Rocks that's not inside of sugar is something called carbon dioxide. Does that sound familiar?
It does. It sounds like when we talked about breathing.
That's right. Do you remember if we breathe in carbon dioxide or do we breathe out carbon dioxide?
Breathe out.
Exactly. Carbon dioxide is a gas that we breathe out, and it happens to also be contained inside of Pop Rocks. So when that sugar dissolves, it releases that carbon dioxide gas, which we hear as the crackle sound.
Crackle. Crackle.
There you go. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, this is kind of hard to do at home, but scientists are able to kind of trap that carbon dioxide in there, releasing it, and then making that crackle sound.
So eating crackle rocks is like having small explosions in your mouth.
That's exactly right. And Dr. Marbles, if you like explosions, you better stick around because we're doing another explosion experiment right now.
Awesome.
All right, so in our second experiment, we're going to actually experience a candy explosion. And we're going to also be able to experiment a little bit more with carbon dioxide. So I'm going to use the same tray because it might get a little messy, as we know with explosions. And for this experiment, you are going to need some Diet Coke, the small bottle, because we don't want that big of an explosion. But if you're doing it outside, go big. You'll also need a balloon and some Mentos. You can use mint Mentos or really any other kind of Mentos is good. All right, so the first step we need to do is to release some of our Diet Coke into a bowl. You want to release about half of the contents from the Diet Coke into the bowl so it looks like that. I'm going to do that with 3 bottles because we're going to have 3 different explosions. Why not? Ooh, I heard a kind of crackling sound. I wonder if that's also carbon dioxide. All right, and one more. I have just enough room in my bowl. Cool. All right, now time for some fun. What you're going to do is you're going to stretch out your balloons and put a Mento inside each balloon. This might be a little bit tricky, especially if your hands are slippery. But push the Mento into the balloon like so. You'll push all the way down there. And then you'll do that with your 2 other balloons as well. 1, 2, and we'll do a 3rd. And of course, I chose Science Club colors of purple and orange. Oh, Mento's kind of stuck in there. All right, that's close enough. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to stretch that balloon on top of your soda bottle. We'll do 2. Ooh. Be extra careful with this. Oh, I'm also, before I do the actual explosion, I'm going to put some safety goggles on because we are using kind of chemicals here. All right, there we go. Stretch it over the top of that balloon. Cool. And now my second one. I'll start with just two, just because they're clearly kind of hard to get on. Don't spill it over. All right. Woo. Balloons are tricky. There we go. All right. Now for the fun part. What you're going to do is you're going to lift your balloon, putting the Mentos into the Diet Coke, and let's see what happens. Now, let me put my safety goggles on first, of course. All right, here we go. Squeeze that Mentos down into the bottle. You might want to hold your balloon on, so I'll probably do it down here. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's one. Let's do our other one. Here we go. Squeeze the Mentos tap down into the bottle. Woo! Very cool. Now, for the fun part, you can actually tie off this balloon. Turn it upside down to get rid of all that extra liquid in there. Careful, it doesn't spill over. You can actually take the balloon off, and there you got a balloon. Science Club for Girls balloon. Very, very cool. Now, what exactly is going on here? What is the science behind this crazy experiment? Let's call in Dr. Marbles and see if he can help us out.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh, Hannah, that was not just crazy, but let me tell you something. That was helpful. Can I tell you why?
What?
Oh, do I hate blowing up balloons?
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
I didn't put any effort into this at all. The soda did it all for me.
I hate it.
I know. Me too.
Oh, I get like one balloon and I'm exhausted. So now I've got a nice way to do it. I'm going to blow up balloons from now on with Coke and Pepsi.
That's exactly right. And some Mentos. Don't forget the Mentos.
And Mentos, of course. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That just saved me a lot of time.
Of course. Happy to help. Well, Dr. Marbles, what do you think is exactly happening here? What do you think caused the balloon to blow up?
You know, I was thinking about that while I was watching. When I drink soda, I get little bubblies in my tummy. You know, the bubbles inside the soda. Yeah, there you go. And I'm wondering, is it those bubbles in the soda that's going into the balloon?
That's a great point. Because as we saw with our chemical reactions, bubbles are often a sign of a chemical reaction. And in fact, in this case of the soda, those bubbles are actually bubbles of carbon dioxide gas that really, really, really want to get out of the soda, which is often when you open the soda, you hear all that air escaping. That's the carbon dioxide that really wants to get out of there.
But
yeah,
there's the Mentos.
Right.
So the Mentos must somehow free up, I'm cranking my neck to look at you.
Yeah.
Must free up the carbon dioxide out of the soda into the balloon. The Mentos catalyze that reaction.
What does the word catalyze mean, Dr. Marbles?
Catalyze kind of means to help, to kind of accelerate, to enable.
That's a great point. Because actually, even without the Mentos, the carbon dioxide would probably escape out, but it would take a lot longer. Whereas the Mentos actually cause a chemical reaction that works to kind of push away the water molecules that are holding that carbon dioxide in place and allow it to escape out a lot faster, as we saw with our experiment.
I love it. I really love it. And Hannah, what a great way to end the last show. What a perfect experiment. Because it involves candy and it involves soda.
Exactly. Probably your two favorite things.
Two favorite things. You know what, Hannah? I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go and do some experimenting. I'm actually going to just go have some soda and candy.
That's what I thought you meant. All right, well, don't go far, Dr. Marbles, because we're about to introduce our super special guest for today. So you'll probably want to hear that.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, as Dr. Marbles was saying, this was for sure a great experiment to end on. And actually, there's an even better experiment if you can go outside and be a little bit messy too. If you just use the bigger Diet Coke and more Mentos, you can really experience a gigantic explosion, which is pretty crazy. Well, speaking of pretty crazy, we have a really cool guest today on Science Club for Girls. We are thrilled to welcome Dr. Onika Williams, who's a surgeon and a children's book author. She writes a series called Dr. D Dynamo, which is a Supergirl surgeon that it goes on all these adventures and gets to experiment with science. Dr. Williams is also a top urologic surgeon at St. Elizabeth Medical Center here in Boston. And more importantly, she was a mentor with Science Club for Girls. Her experience with Science Club actually encouraged and inspired her character of Dr. D Dynamo, girl super surgeon. Well, we thought this would be a perfect opportunity for Dr. Onika Williams to share a little bit about her book, Dr. D Dynamo's Be More Breakthrough, because as we know, there's nothing sweeter than honey, and honey's made from bees. So let's take a look at Dr. Onika Williams' reading of Dr. D Dynamo's Be More Breakthrough.
Onika Williams, and I am so excited to be a part of this 25th Facebook Live for the Science Club for Girls. I am a big fan of the Science Club for Girls. As a matter of fact, Dr. D Dynamo was inspired during one of my Science Club for Girls activities many years ago. I am a surgeon, so it's only natural that when I created Dr. D Dynamo, I would make her a girl super surgeon. She has these incredible powers of positivity. Her energy comes from electrical energy, and she goes around the universe fixing problems with her gifted hands. She has a team that goes with her on her missions, and she lives with her family and her extended family on the island of positivity. Today, I am going to be reading Dr. D Dynamo's Be More Breakthrough, and it's a perfect theme given that you are doing sweet things and candy this week. Wahoo! 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 Dr. Didi almost falls off of her relaxation cloud. What in the world? She says. The honeybees are dying. The honeybees are dying, shrieks Gordon the Gullible Globe, whose very sensitive ears alert Dr. Didi when anyone or anything in the universe has a problem. Buzz, buzz, buzz. That's Uncle B-More's Bee-Mobile, says Dr. Didi, racing to the door. Kyle the koala, Dr. Didi's grumpy assistant, burrows into his leaves for a quick nap. I would love some peace and quiet for just one day, he grumbles. Dr. Didi's friends arrive. It's party time, says Dr. Didi. Everyone gets a bee hat. Have you guys ever heard the term busy bees? Well, that's because the worker bees work non-stop. They are busy, busy, busy. I am going to be a worker bee, says Lucas, who's Dr. Didi's cousin. They do so many jobs, I will never be bored. Grandma Bee says, there can only be one queen bee, and that is me. I am the heart and soul of the hive. Without me, the colony cannot survive. I'm twice as long, so don't get close. Beware, I might just sting you on your nose. Why do we need bees? Bees help plants make the food we eat. They move pollen from the male part to the female parts of the flowers to make seeds so new plants can grow. The pollen sticks to the bees as they crawl through the flower in search of nectar. This is called pollination. Can you believe that bees have a language just like you and me? So scout bees fly from the hive searching for pollen and nectar. When they find some, they return to the hive and do the waggle dance. This dance tells the other bees where to find the nectar. And it goes like this. Walk straight, shake your belly, beat your wings, and buzz in a figure 8. Walk straight, shake your belly, beat your wings, and buzz. Find the nectar and don't be late. Time for cake. Uncle Beemore gives out little cups of honey. Long live the honeybees, he toasts. Yay! Everyone cheers. You guys know how honey is made. You're dealing with sweet things this week. Honey is made when bees suck the nectar into 2 stomachs. So we as human beings have 1 stomach. Bees have 2. One stomach stores the nectar where the bees can use that for their food. The second stomach has chemicals and substances called enzymes that break down the nectar in the second stomach. So that bee then flies to the hive where he throws up, kind of like barfs up the honey in the nectar in the second stomach, and the bee in the hive sucks that up. The bee in the hive then deposits that nectar into those little honeycomb cells, and then all the bees in the hive flap their wings like a giant fan, and that helps the water in the nectar to evaporate, and it makes such that the honey is formed with this thick, viscous liquid that we enjoy so much. And that is how honey is made. The bees then cover the cells with wax, and then it stays there until one of us comes along and takes that honeycomb out of the hive and extracts the honey. Dr. Didi, can't you save the bees, says Marky. Remember, this whole thing started because the bees were dying. I believe that I can. Dr. Didi has her powers of positivity. She believes there is always a solution. Instead of more bees, we need to help the ones we have to do more, be more. If the bees can fly faster, then they will visit more flowers and pollinate more plants. They need robotic wings. Whoa, says Marky, they will be bee heroes. Yay, Dr. D Dynamo says with excitement, bee rose. I will engineer robotic wings to attach them to the bees so that they can fly faster and get to all the flowers on the island. Dr. Didi's friends, Tia and Thomas, known as the Technology Twins, offered to help. Isn't it wonderful to have friends because they can help us? Follow me to my workshop, Dr. Didi says, dashing off. Dr. Didi and the twins huddle over the design table and engineer and test, and they don't give up until the wings are perfect. Dr. Didi checks her watch windy to make sure that she is fully charged. She focuses her electromagnetic energy. She's going to get these wings produced as fast as possible. Let the production begin, she says. She speeds up the assembly line, and thousands of wings zip into Frida the flying ambulance. Dr. Didi gathers Marky the medicine bag and her faithful instruments. Any respectable surgeon needs a bag with instruments, so Dr. Didi has hers. Her fingers are tingling. She is ready to operate. Remember, anything that she does, she uses her operating skills to fix and to sew and to put things together. Anesthetic blows gas into the beehives to numb up the bees because she does not want them to feel a single thing. I am Dr. D Dynamo, super surgeon on the go. My hands were made to heal. I cut, I sew, I tie with zeal. No problem is too big or small. Dr. D Dynamo can tackle them all. Come on, Kai, let's get to work. Sew, tie, cut, sew, tie, cut, sew, tie, cut. Dr. D works at lightning speed until the wings are attached to all of the worker bees. I can do more and be more. The bees are excited. What a breakthrough. Let the pollination begin. The bee rolls wake up and they zoom off. Wahoo! 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 Remember that sound? It's Gordon the Gullible Globe, and he is spinning frantically. What is it, Gordon? Dr. Didi asks. The whole island is buzzing, Gordon says. It's driving me crazy. The other bees on the island want to be bee rolls too. I can fix this, says Dr. Didi. If the other have wings, we shall provide them for everyone. How could you possibly put wings on every bee? Asked Kyle. Not even the sky is the limit, says Dr. Didi. We will build fly-throughs with wings to go, so that every bee that wants robotic wings shall have them. Dr. Didi and the technology twins build the first ever fly-through. You remember drive-throughs when you guys go to McDonald's? Well, here is the bee version, fly-throughs. The news of the great breakthrough spread like wildfire immediately. Bees are swarming and zooming through the fly-through. The bee rolls pollinate every plant on the island. The hives are happy. Food is plentiful. The island of positivity celebrates. The island of positivity is so thankful and presents Dr. Didi and her team with the highest medal of service. Happy buzzing fills the air as the bee rolls write, "Thank you," in the sky. And that is the end of the Dr. D Dynamo Be More breakthrough. I hope that in this story, you remember and you have learned how a heart to serve and to make a difference and to solve problems led Dr. Didi to create a solution that helped the bees to pollinate more plants so that there could be more food on the island of positivity and to make a difference in the lives of the people on the island. And so you young scientists are problem solvers and you're destined to make a difference in someone's life. Just remember, keep a positive, can-do attitude. Know that you have everything that you need to solve problems. You are scientists. Go out there and get them. Have a wonderful rest of the program and congratulations to the Science Club for Girls. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Wasn't that cool? Wasn't that cool?
I'm speechless, Hannah. That was just so cool. Dr. Williams is cool, and that story was so awesome.
Yeah, it was really neat. I loved how Dr. D Dynamo is just so determined to help others, and she's so confident, and it's so great. I loved that.
Yeah, and I loved her energy, and I also think Dr. Williams is just such a great storyteller. I mean, imagine that, a surgeon, wow, and a storyteller. So cool.
Very cool. Well, she has so many other books too, so I definitely encourage everyone at home to go check them out as well.
Very cool.
Well, Mr. Dr. Marbles, I thought what better way to end our season 1 finale. Don't worry, we'll be back for season 2. But what better way to end than by bringing back some of our great friends from season 1?
Really?
I think so. Why not? We haven't seen them in a while, and it'd be good just to kind of bring it all together, you know?
You're not saying we're going to see Klaus?
I did give him a call, and he said he was going to show up, so I think he might show up in a bit.
Oh, that's awesome!
Well, I thought first off, why don't we start with you? Dr. Marbles, you've been a really key person in our show, and I'm just curious, what was like your favorite part? And Dr. Marbles, can you keep it a little bit brief today?
Sure.
Thank you.
But seriously, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Science Club for Girls. I want to say thank you to you, Hannah. And I want to say thank you, most importantly, to all the scientists out there. Because I'll tell you, my favorite part was not just one show, but all the shows. Because what they really did was make the magic of science come to life. Really described how science is about discovery and how Science Club for Girls is about empowering each other to be the best that we can be, but also to add back. Every one of your guests, Hannah, everyone added back, was giving back and making the world better. And I just am so pleased and proud to be a part of this show and of this organization. So thank you, Hannah.
Well, I think that's a great summary. We've loved having you, Dr. Marbles, and I could not agree more. It's really who we have on the show that makes the show, and everyone at home who's watching.
Can't wait for season 2.
All right, well, the second person that I wanted to check in with was Mr. Music. Mr. Music, you've been such a key part at the beginning of every single show and the end. What's been your favorite part? I think he said DNA episode was his favorite episode. That's really cool. Very nice. Very, very nice. Well, the third person we got to check in with, not really person, but Chicken. Let's see what's going on with Prediction Chicken. Hey, Prediction Chicken. Dr. Marbles, can we get some translation?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. He had a couple words he wanted to say. Just a second.
That'd be great.
Hannah, he wants to say thank you for allowing him to be on the show.
Okay.
He enjoyed being Prediction Chicken.
Okay.
What? Are you sure? All right, I'm going to tell her. And he'd love to be back for season 2!
I'm so glad. Well, the good thing about science is that there'll always be predictions. So I think he's got a job for life.
Job security.
That's great. Well, the last person we have to check in with is our good friend from episode 1, Klaus. You probably all forgot about him, but he's still here. Hey, Klaus.
Hello. Hi, Hannah.
Hey, Klaus. I mean, it's been so long. What have you been up to?
You put me in a bag because I'm a sock, right?
Right. Anyway, what's been your favorite part of Science Club for Girls?
Well, you didn't throw me away.
That's true. I did not throw you away.
My favorite part of Science Club is not being thrown in the trash.
What about science, though?
I would have to say probably the experiment.
Oh, very cool. Well, you know what, Klaus? Maybe you can join us again in season 2. Maybe we'll, invite you back. Because I do feel a little bit bad about putting you in a bag.
Oh.
All right, bye, Klaus.
Bye-bye.
Well, Dr. Marvel, I think that's it. I think we have to say goodbye until next season.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm sad to say goodbye, but I'm excited to see you next season.
Me too.
And thanks again, Hannah. And thanks again, Science Club for Girls. And thanks, scientists.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.